Hi there, this is John Hyman from Commercial Real Estate Online. Welcome to the program. This is the video show where I like to share tips, tools and ideas relating to commercial real estate brokerage around the world. This particular topic is going to be on a sales versus leasing career alternative, perhaps in your location, perhaps for you, but it will help you think about sales versus leasing as a career alternative in commercial real estate brokerage. And before going further, don't forget to visit our website, here it is here, which is commercial-real-estate-training.com. And of course, I'm always loading things there relating to commercial real estate brokerage. So now let's look at this particular topic and take you further into this program. So sales versus leasing as a career. I have always said and have observed that leasing and sales are very close together as career alternatives. And indeed, you can do both. But if you choose to do both, make sure you make a choice as to which one is the main source of your commissions, clients, and transactions over time. So make your choice between either one, but make sure it is the primary source of activity. I haven't got property management up here because property management is entirely different and will be dealt with in a different video shortly. So when you consider these things, consider leasing and sales. Which one works for you? Let's look at it. A leasing career. Well, if you're going to be a leasing specialist, you have to focus on all of these types of things. And you need to make sure that all of these things are comprehensively covered in your activities as a broker or an agent. And by the way, you can get this chart at my website as part of the resources we send out by email regularly. So let's go further and let's go into the issues relating to leasing. So you're going to have a client base. What is that client base? Well, typically it'll be business owners who require to lease properties locally or move or change or relocate. And then there are always landlords looking for vacancy resolve, solving vacancies within their properties. That's okay. That's fine. You can work both of those channels deeply. But don't forget about the shopping centre managers. They're always looking for help when it comes to finding tenants for their shopping centre, resolving vacancies before they become too much of a problem over time. I have put franchise groups here as a special topic because franchise groups and a lot of franchise groups need properties to operate from. So think about that as well. Franchise groups are a very good source of leasing change and churn over time. The other channel here I've put down for your note is tenants. You can work with the tenants locally, and you should indeed have a very comprehensive database of tenants and business owners in your location. So make your choice when it comes to clients locally. In saying that, what are the property types that you prefer? So when you consider the different property types, industrial is reasonably straightforward when it comes to leasing, not complex, and that's fine and that's good. Office is a little bit more complex, takes a bit more activity, a bit more focus. You need to know a bit more about property when you're leasing office type property. So now we go to retail. It's always more complex. It's at the high end of the complexity scale. And of course, a direct derivative of that will be shopping centres. So these two are, let's say, the more intense, more complex. And then we have office and we have industrial. So you can work with the different channels there. Of course, you can be a specialist in hotels and tourism. That's okay. So when you've made your choice, you work within your zone, which is your allocated territory. And that territory would have several hundred, if not thousand, businesses within that. And then, of course, you'll have precincts within that zone. So your precincts, there may be 4 or 5 precincts within the zone that you work deeply and directly. So understand the separate precincts and how you can work each of them specifically to your benefit and to help your clients with property change and churn. So the zone then sets the precincts. As I said, you could have 3 or 4 different precincts. So I've covered clients, I've covered property types. I just want to talk about commissions basically here. When you're thinking about commissions, and everyone does, of course, because it's an income, understand the industry fee standards in your location. They will always be different. So decide what industry fees should be for you, given the standards that exist elsewhere and the competitive position that you have in the market locally. After you understand the fees, you can then decide, well, what's the size of the deal that you're going to focus on? Is it a small type leasing deal? Is it a bigger leasing deal? Is it in a prime property? Is it in a mid-range property. The size of the deal, the type of property, the rents, all of that will drive your commission. And from that, you then work out how many listings per week you need at a conversion factor to take you forward. So let's say you lease exclusively, which is the priority anyway, and from listing exclusively, you convert 70% of your deals. And that should be a target anyway. From all of that, when you understand the size of the deal that you want to work on, you can soon see the commissions that you're trying to achieve, and then you know the pipeline that you have to build around landlords, tenants, business owners locally. The pipeline is people you connect with. So the opportunities locally, what are they? When you think about it, it's existing landlords, existing properties, projects. Understand the supply and demand in your area, of course, and how that's changing, and then understand tenant advocacy work, because you can work for tenants directly and specifically, and that's okay. Then have a serious look at the vacancy factors and how things change. Vacancy factors will be driven by supply and demand. So there you go. There's the opportunities to think through. Who are you going to work for? Who's going to be your client, and where are they in this list of opportunities? So that's leasing. So now let's look at sales. And in sales, I've put another chart here for our members online in the resources through the emails that I send out. This particular chart is in those emails. So this helps you understand the various elements of sales that you can and should be working on. So let's go into this and consider the elements of sales in your career. First and foremost, I will say, who are your clients going to be? So the clients in sales are a little bit different. Sure, you'll work for business owners, I get that, but you're going to work for investors as well, because they'll be buying and selling all the time. So those are the main channels of selling: investors and also business owners as owner-occupiers. Then, of course, you have typical buyers in other categories. You have typical sellers in other categories. There's 4 channels with plenty of work for you to get through. Now, accountants and solicitors. I put them on the list because they have clients that need property help. Get to know probably 10 to 15 accountants and solicitors in the bigger firms in your location. It works substantially so over time. Eventually they have a client that needs property help and they'll give you a referral. That's a good thing. I've also put on the list here funds managers, because funds managers are a good source of portfolio change and churn over time. They are the investment funds that have plenty of properties where they buy and sell over time. They need good properties, they need investment results from ownership. So get to know those funds managers, as they need property help when it comes to buying and selling. Now, the last on the list I've just put here for you to think about are the developers. Sure, the developers are fine to work for. The pipeline of activity with developers can take some time to take shape, because a development takes probably 18 months to 24 months to come to finality and to bring you the commissions that you need. If that works for you, that's fine. But get to know some developers, but don't hang most of your business on development activity. Start to work for the others, and that is the investors, the business owners. Work them deeply, and then work the accountants and solicitors, and also the funds managers. There's your pipeline of people, easy to work with. That's it. So the opportunities out there, the opportunities will be within your specialities. So do specialize, understand territory canvassing and the value of that. Drill down into your territory. That's how you find the business. And then, of course, work within property types, and then start building your relationships with the clients that I mentioned. And here are the clients again. That's where the relationships should be built. So the important facts to understand here within your business career, your commercial real estate career. What do you need to know? What do you need to do? Focus on these things, particularly so, and add to the list as appropriate. Quality listings, that is definitely the way to go. Quality listings create more change and churn for you. Then we have the competition. Understand who they are, where they are, what they do, and how you can be different. Then answer this question: why should I use you as an agent to sell or lease my property? You've got to have a definite answer. It cannot be generic. There's no point in you being the same as every other agent in your location. So develop some real and different points of value when it comes to marketing, inspections, client contact, that sort of thing. From that, you'll build your market knowledge, you'll get your marketing systems underway, and your skills. So that's what you can and should do. So there you go. They are the differences between sales and leasing. What is better for you? Is it leasing Is that the way to go with all of these issues? Perhaps it is. Is it sales? Is that the way to go with all of these issues? Again, quite possible. Just determine the channel that works for you when it comes to your main primary source of commissions and clients over time. So one of these will be your primary source, the other will be the secondary source. But sales activity leads to leasing, and leasing activity leads to sales if you work it correctly, and you should. And again, who are the clients that you should be working with? These, particularly so. This particular chart I put out in the resources online to the community online through the emails that I send out regularly. So if you want this and you haven't got it already, make sure you join the community online. So now let's look at this particular final chart that I want you to perhaps get a copy of from the website. But this is all of the issues you should be looking at when it comes to market analysis. Now, if you're working in sales or leasing, you have to do market analysis. You have to understand what's going on between these categories. Retain and grow, measure and optimize, acquire and convert. And the subsets there will give you a lot of information relating to the market in commercial real estate in your location. Commercial real estate doesn't need to be hard, but it does need to be specific and direct. So ensure that you are being as deep and direct as you can be as a specialist in your location. Choose your channel. Is it leasing or is it sales? They are both very good, by the way. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other, but I will say that you should specialize in one over the other, and then perhaps do both to a particular level. By the way, there's the website for you. And yesterday I loaded an article here at the website, which was how to qualify prospects for better appointments. And in that particular article, I've actually got there an audio which goes for quite some time, and it explains the differences between prospects and how you can work with that. So that's it for now. And of course, this is John Hyman. I do thank you for listening to the program. Don't forget to connect with us regularly, subscribe at this YouTube channel, and I'll share all the information I can relating to sales, leasing and property management with you over time. Catch you again very soon.